Hello everyone, this is Lying Figure, and today we're back here playing Silent Hill 4, and this should be, if my math is correct, episode 7. I'm pretty sure on that. Anyways, so when I look at the save screen later on when I'm saving the game, you notice that I have about like 40 extra saves, which is because I actually ended up playing the game. I recorded... that was odd. Um, I hope somebody else saw that. That was funny. I don't know what that was. Um, Look at that. There's a white man sodomizing a little black boy over there. How revolting. Anyways, I recorded a few hours of stuff, and I did this twice. And then when I went back, the sound was all messed up. Um, the game was just way too loud. You could barely hear me. And so I turned down the volume in the game about halfways, and I recorded another couple hours, figuring, well, it's half the half the sound. It shouldn't happen again. And I ended up still being hard to hear, and as frustrating as it is, I don't want to put out shit, so I'll just record it. I'm just recording it again instead of, putting out shit content that you can't even hear. So that's why this video has taken a while to come out compared to the other ones. Um, Anyways, there's been quite a few gaps in the series because of different things. I had to go out of town, I had to go fix my computer, build a new computer. Now I got a new sound adapter, which is fixing the robotic electronic voice stuff that was going on in the last couple parts. So everything should... Oh, it just happened again. The head on the window. Anyways, everything should be in perfect order now. I'm recording with 2 audio tracks. I did turn the game sound down a bit more, but I'm recording with 2 audio tracks, and hopefully that means that if anything goes wrong at any time, I can just adjust it in editing so that you can always hear my voice over the game music or sound. Anyways, sorry for the little diatribe there, but we are back off into the building world. And I know this stuff like a pro now because I've done it twice. Anyways, let's grab some, it's a golf club, looks like a 5-iron. So, our inventory is going to get kind of full here, I guess. Oh, that's okay. It's no big deal. Let's check this door. It's locked. So, we have to go in here. Into another staircase like this in the building world. And there will be a very loud yelling and growling noise. Yeah, there it is. What that is, nobody really knows, like lore-wise. Probably just there to scare people, really. Anyways, we are in what is a... Oh, excuse me, pupper. I gotta get through here. It's enough cat food for an army of cats. You found keys, will you take them? Sure. We got Albert Swartz keys. An army of cats. That is a lot of pussy. Anyways, we're going to, we can check this door and I'll show you. It's just another staircase. There's a Slavic ghost here in his tracksuit. He's gonna bother us for vodka and cigarettes. But we can just walk down here and try to go in this door. And this room, sort of an MC Escher type room. All upside down, flip turn backwards and all that nonsense. But it is, there's nothing to see here really. There's an upside down grandfather clock. The hands aren't moving and the doorknob is rusted shut, so Henry can't get it open. So, nothing to see in this room. And I'm sure of that because I've been here many times in the last 2 days. Very peculiar room. I don't remember if we even go back to it later in the game or anything. So I'm not sure what that is. But we'll still be pursued by this ghost. And I don't think I ever mentioned it before, but to me the building world is pretty cool. The only thing that, I like the blackness of the sky, how it's very dreamlike. Like there's nothing beyond what you see currently. It makes sense in that, it's kind of meant to be a dream in a way, which is why you wake up whenever you crawl back to your apartment. But I dislike all the staircases like this. Not because they're staircases, but because there's so many and they all look not identical, but very, very similar. Like right here, we're on another very similar staircase. And here's our introduction, right here. I talked about how there's old and new gum heads in the last episode, and this red one who looks a bit whiter and more red on him, weird eyes. This is a new gum head. He's younger, he's not as aged. Why there are two, I'm not sure. They don't really seem to have any attacking differences or health differences. They just have two appearances, and the website of the game says new and old, so nobody really knows much about why that is. But, who knows. Excuse me, sir. Can't go in here, so we'll have to go over here and try out all these doors. Elevator's not here. Hey, you can see a hole down there. I think we were down there earlier. And an elevator here. So let's go inside.
Kid he was talking about? You live in that apartment too, huh? Say, you look a lot like a little punk that I once caught sneaking around there. Do you know something about what's going on? Hey, you! Stop!
So that is the lovely Richard Braintree who we met earlier, with the ability to fall off buildings and not get hurt. He's pointing a fully loaded revolver straight into a little kid's face. So he's a very fun guy. Here's, I believe, our third healing item in the game. Health drink. Heals your body with supplemental nutrition. And anyways, like I said, we're this far in the game. We're like 7 episodes in, and that's my third healing item I found. So again, you really need to preserve healing items in this game. Thankfully, once you get to the latter half of the game, your apartment will stop healing you, and they'll start giving you more health items, which is really useful. But all of these you want to store for later also. These doors will all be locked. We crawled up through this ladder here. And this is I always notice, this is a very distinctly Japanese alleyway. And I don't say that because all the writing on the boards and everything is Japanese, but because you never see something like this in America. At least not where I live, or, you know, anywhere I've been in America, which is, this guy's holding a golf putter. It's such a narrow alleyway, and it has shops inside of it and everything. Most alleyways in America are just between buildings and not, you know, not really like little streets. So, design oversight maybe. This is a cool room. I don't know what this design is meant to be, but a fan, I guess. Because there's a fan overhead, and I don't know. Who knows, really. And in here we'll find yet another very similar staircase. But that is okay. Hi, those are some trimmers there. Just garbage, there's nothing useful here. Just a couch with garbage and crates on it, I guess. Lock is broken. Wooden crates, nothing interesting about that. My friend Gordon Freeman might have a bone to pick with you, Henry. There's a rusty axe here. A little short, but powerful and easy to handle. Well, Henry's a little short. Which is actually funny to mention because look at this normal size bar counter, and Henry barely clears it. He's like a foot taller than it. Like we said before, Henry's got to be like 4 feet tall. It's really sad. The boss said that the number this time is the last 4 digits of the store's phone number, but the phone number is written right there on the sign on the roof. Anybody could see it from South Ashfield Street. Is that really okay? There's just a normal billiards table over here. And a clock up there. And here's the door with the code that we need to figure out. And we're actually going to figure this out, we need to head back to our apartment. I know it, but there's something that you're kind of meant to go back here to figure out what the code is. And we'll miss a cutscene if I don't go back. So, before we even check what the code is, we will look out the door. And we'll see, better check on your neighbor soon, written in blood over all the bloody handprints. So, Eileen may or may not be in danger. So let's check on her. Let's see what she's up to in here. She is not here. We've gotten really unlucky with Eileen's animation. Oh, there's a sliding head again. Usually there's maybe 8 or 9. It's hard to say, but typically 8 to 9, I believe at least, animations or things that Eileen can be doing when you look in her room. And I think we've gotten 2. One is that she just stood up and walked over to the desk next to the hole that we were looking in. The other is that she's just sitting on her bed. And a lot of the time she just hasn't even been there. Which is very odd. I guess it's one of those things, Silent Hill does this where it's oftentimes the scares or some certain sound effects or, certain things like that it's kind of like a seed at the beginning of the game. It'll decide randomly at the very beginning. So no matter how many times I load my game and go back, we'll never get it different. I believe it's the same thing with a lot of other games. There's typically, in game design, there's 2 different methods of doing that. I forgot to even check the sign outside. I'm sorry, I was too busy ranting. I'll show you next time we go back to the apartment, but it's the number we called at the very beginning of the game. It says Bar Southfield. It's the sign outside our window. It says 555-3750. So it's the last 4 digits, 3750. I put it in. Anyways, in game design, there's typically a lot of loud men screaming from the top of long stairways. There's generally 2 ideas of randomly generated or things like that, which is it's either a seed at the beginning of the game, so as soon as you hit new game it will generate the randomized choices for everything throughout the game, and then it will just run off that, and no matter how many times you load a game it won't change anything, which is I believe how games like Terraria and Minecraft do it, where it kind of builds the world off a seed. And then, or there's other, like the more typical RPG thing to do, is that you will have a random percentage, and if you load the game, it does a dice roll at the time that you choose to do the option, and so that's something you see in games like the Fallout 3 New Vegas with the speech options, is you get a percentage and you can reload the game every time that you want to. Just to try and get the dice roll correct. It's not seeded from the beginning. So we're being pursued again by our Slavic ghost friend, but nothing much he can do to us here. What's this? It's door number 207 from my apartment building. Excuse me, buddy. There's a plate on the door, and it's a chaos placard. Placard from the building world. It has an abstract picture and says chaos. Well, let's go in here. So, we just watched the always wonderful and lovely Richard Braintree being electrocuted to death, and the numbers in his forehead say 19121. And he says something about the kid and the 11121 man, and, you know, just some stuff like that. And then the kid pointed out the window for some reason. And I want you to remember the kid pointing out the window, because when you look out the window here, there's a man in 207 pointing his finger. He's pointing at room 303, Eileen's room. Interesting. So, 207, the room we were just in, can see the chair where Richard got electrocuted, and there's a man pointing just like there's a kid pointing from the room. What could it mean? And he's still there, as we can see. And there's the sign, just to show you. Bar Southfield 555-3750. I got some last time I recorded this. I got a really rare thing, which is if you get really lucky and you look out the window, you can see a big floating Robbie the Rabbit head, like a hot air balloon Robbie the Rabbit head. But I don't see it this time. We'll probably see it sometime throughout the playthrough. We go back to the apartment enough that it's, you know, well, I'm sure.
Looks like another one, Captain. Got 121 on his head. It's just like that case from 10 years ago. Yeah, that Walter Sullivan case. But Sullivan's dead. They even got the body. Must be some crazy copycat. Yeah, but even so...
Interesting. Walter Sullivan is dead. So what is going on here? Well, what's going on is we're going to check on Eileen. Wow. We got the same animation of her standing up and walking over to the desk. Excellent. Oh well. It's not a big deal. Is there anything under the door this time? Nope, but we can look outside and see Mr. Frank Sunderland watching us suspiciously. And there's still the 16 handprints up in the 2 top rows, and then there's 3 more, so that's 19. Which means, again, the first 2 numbers of that 5-digit number being 19121 that was in Richard Braintree's forehead, there are now 19 handprints. So those first 2 numbers correspond with the number of bloody handprints and how many people are dead. And there's the man still pointing to Eileen's room. There's the little black boy still being sodomized. Poor guy. And, yeah, I don't think there's anything else going on out here. I don't see any more bloody heads coming down the window. Anyways, let's put this placard back, just so we have space in our inventory. In fact, let's put, yeah, we'll put that away too. We don't need an extra weapon. This pipe is really durable. Anyways, nothing to do except for venture out. And we can see here that the hole is not only getting bigger, but it's starting to form the little writings and symbols around it, like the other holes that we've been seeing throughout the different worlds. So, this hole doesn't look like a human made it. It's getting bigger and rounder. I think I've seen this pattern before. And we will go inside.
looks like my apartment. But what the hell is this?
Alright, so this is the apartment world. We are in the apartment building, although the interior decorating appears to be a little bit off. It's got a little bit much of a blood, rust, and gore theme, rather than a regular apartment building. But that will not put us off. If you are an astute viewer, you will notice that there's a little boy right there knocking on the door. And he's saying Mom. And there's a little red piece of paper under the door. It's locked. There's a scrap of red paper stuck under the door. This is the same way they show up under my door. And this is room 302, the apartment we are locked in. So, anyways, astute viewers may have noticed that the man knocking on room 303 in the big trench coat is not only the same man that was pointing across the way, but is also the man who's in my title cards. So, if you were a very, very perceptive person, you could probably gather that that character is important. So I will spoil it. I'm just trying to justify spoiling it. That is Walter Sullivan. And that's not really a big spoiler. I mean, you know, we know that already pretty much. You can gather it easy enough. That's Walter Sullivan. He's the man. But I thought he killed himself and they had the body. Is he dead? Is he not? How is the little kid related to him? He's doing very similar things, pointing at the same places, knocking on the same door, or knocking on a door that's close by anyways. What could it all mean? Well, we will find out. Anyways, let's explore the apartment building. This is probably my favorite level in the game, as this level is the most traditional Silent Hill level. It's 3 floors of apartments to explore and just fun to have. Let's read this diary here. The last few months, Joseph, the guy next door to me who gave me that rare porn magazine, looks like he's been working super hard. He said if he found another rare one, he'd give it to me, but he hasn't shown his face around much lately. He said he was a journalist and he is always investigating stuff, but I think something strange is going on with him. He's been shut in his apartment and I can hear all these weird noises coming from there. July 1st, Mike. Oh, my beautiful Rachel, what's with the note on the red paper? I thought you'd written a note back to me, but I guess maybe it was somewhere else. He took it along with my clothes. Those were my best clothes. July 2nd, Mike. So that's Mike's diary. Wow, look at all these porno magazines. Wow, looks like Lion Figure's apartment. I'm just kidding. I live at home. It's a red piece of paper with nothing written on it. Let's grab the red paper. There's nothing written on it, but Henry says he'll stick it under the door, so that's what we'll do. We will stick it under room 302's door. But first, let's finish exploring Mike's apartment here. He also didn't get the memo that, or he did get the memo apparently, that the theme is blood and rust. And in here we're going to find some very interesting things. Porno magazines everywhere. There's no time for that right now. There are porno magazines scattered all over the floor. So Mike lives in this dingy apartment. There's porn everywhere. He's got a diary. He might not be the best guy in the world. There's a magazine lying open. Teaching Despair, Wish House. Wish House, an orphanage on the outskirts of Silent Hill, but behind its false image is a place where children are kidnapped and brainwashed. Wish House is managed by the Silent Hill Smile Support Society, a charity organization sometimes called 4S. It's true that 4S is a well-respected charity that takes in poor children without homes and raises them with hope. But at its heart, it is a heathen organization that teaches its own warped dogma in lieu of good religious values. Mr. Smith, temp, who lives near Wish House, had this to say: "Sometimes at night I can hear their weird prayers and the sounds of children crying. I went there to complain one time, but they ran me right out. Since then, it hasn't changed a bit." In fact, this reporter was refused admission when he attempted to take photographs in the facility. What exactly do the folks at Wish House have to hide? During my investigations, I was able to discover, however, a suspicious-looking round concrete tower which appears to be part of their facilities. Unfortunately, no one was willing to tell us what the tower was used for, but it seems unlikely that it has anything to do with the business of raising orphans. It may in fact be a prison or a secret place of worship. The cult religion that operates Wish House is known by the locals simply as the Order. It's a religion that is deeply interwoven with Silent Hill's history, but its worshippers' fervent belief that they are among the elite chosen people has a dark and dangerous side. I intend to continue my investigation of Wish House and the cult behind it. I've always believed that telling the whole truth and showing the children the true path is our most important duty. Joseph Schreiber. Interesting. So this article, if you've played Silent Hill 3 or you watched my lore play of it, may seem familiar because it is in Silent Hill 3. Because when we're in Brookhaven Hospital in Silent Hill 3, we can find this article on a hospital bed, and it's well known for quite a few reasons. One, because it's basically it's all about the plot of Silent Hill 4, and people take note of that. And also, it's the source of the almost comical at this point mistranslation of the Order being the cult of Silent Hill. Originally in the Japanese games, the Order just means an order. It was never a proper noun. It was just an order, a cult, something like that. But they somehow took it to be the Order. And so it was just a one-time mistranslation, and in Silent Hill 3, even in Silent Hill 3, it's only mentioned in this article. The rest of the time they call it the cult. So, it's a one-time mistake. But this game uses the same article. Not a big deal, really, because, it's not like they just took it and ran with it and based the plot around it. They just used the same article. It's not a big deal. But the big deal is that in Silent Hill Homecoming, they based the entire plot around the Order and all this nonsense, which is just absolutely silly considering the whole plot is, one, based on a mistranslation, and two, the game even takes the time to explain that after Silent Hill, well, I won't get into too many spoilers for the other games here because I'm not sure if you watched or played the other ones. But suffice to say, the game's story makes no sense. It's based on a mistranslation, and it's a terrible, awful game that I cannot wait to play so I can explain why it's shit to everyone. Anyways, there's two big red highlighted photos here on the wall, and we're going to read these. This guy, is it the super? He was much younger in this picture. There's a key taped to the back of it. Let's grab the superintendent's key here. Cool. It says 105 on it, so we need to go to room 105. So this is an interesting photo because it's a woman in the, like I've said throughout the playthrough, I've mentioned, pay attention to the woman through the window in the black and white shirt. If you look closely, you can see her here on the on this piece of, in this photograph, the black and white shirt and everything. You can kind of get a grasp on her face, and you can clearly see that's Frank with his face scribbled out. And over here, it's a photo of a nurse. It says, "I love you" on it. There's a key taped to the back of it. We'll grab the locker key, number 106. And you notice it's the same face, same woman as in the black and white thing, except she's wearing a nurse's outfit, which is interesting because she's a nurse named Rachel who lives in Ashfield, where James and Mary live from Silent Hill 2. And in Silent Hill 2, Laura and Mary had a nurse named Rachel, and Mary asked her to give the letter to James and Laura when she died, or give their respective letters to those respective characters when she died. So basically, this is Rachel is the nurse that we hear so much about in Silent Hill 2, and here we can see that Mike, the porno magazine reading man, is obsessed with her. And also, just mention the article that we read. The Wish House Orphanage is the place where Jasper Geen burned alive, the place we were at earlier. And the big concrete tower, of course, is the water prison. Anyways, we've been here long enough to trigger this scary ghost old lady appearing. And we're going to try and juke and jive her. You old hag. Okay. So, that was a lot of time spent in that one room. Don't worry, there's not nearly as much in all the other rooms. Little boy just vanished on us. I think my sound cut out there for a second. That was weird. Like even my game sound cut out. I hope the mic didn't go. Oh well. Anyways, this is Eileen's room. It's locked. What was that guy doing here? Could he be the next victim? Or could it be... Oh no. 304 is locked too. And we're going to go out here and see. There's no second half of the third floor, but there are two halves to... Oh, hey, he's Walter. Hey buddy.
I got this from Miss Galvin. A long, long time ago. She was younger than me back then. She looked so happy, holding her mother's hand. Here. I'll give it to you.
Alright. Well, Walter's going to try and give us this little doll here, and we are actually not going to take it. Because if we take it, bad things will happen to us, and we don't need it. And it will affect our ending, or it can affect our ending. It'll take a while to explain how the endings in this game work, but suffice to say, we don't want to take the shabby doll. Anyways, thanks for your, trying to help me, Walter, but we can talk to him again, and all he has to say is, she looks so happy holding her mother's hand, which is, again, Walter's search for a mother. He wants a mother. He has some mommy issues that he has to figure out. But we're going to skip the second floor entirely, and we're going to bolt down to the first floor. There's a hole here, but it's gone now because we're not going to go in it. And there's a locker here. There are tenants' lockers. There are numbers 101 through 304. So we're going to use the locker key and open up number 106 locker and see here. There we go. Okay. Please examine it. I love you, Rachel. Mike. It's filled with love letters from Mike to Rachel. So again, Mike is kind of this creepy stalker guy. And we're going to go in here and head directly into room number 105.